Stretches. Tommy Watson enjoys his first real touch of the ball. Roberts moving it on. Elijah Mayenda! Yes! Get it! Get it!
That's a lovely ball, and Mayenda's in! Mayenda makes his mark. Sunderland back on terms.
Well, it might break even Tommy Watson. Sunderland attacking. Tommy Watson!
Tommy Watson! Tommy Watson passes it into the bottom corner.
Hello and welcome to Black Cats Chat, the international fans podcast for Sunlun AFC. My name is Lee Thurkle. I'm from the Bilbao Black Cats. And to celebrate our promotion to the Premier League, we've got an all-star cast. We've got two people based in Europe, myself and Jeff in Menorca. Jeff, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very good. Can't stop smiling.
I bet you can't, mate. Yeah, Cheshire Cat there. And we've got three on the other side of the Atlantic in USA. We've got Pete in Washington State. Pete, how are you, mate?
Oh, better than I deserve.
You said that last time.
Still better than I deserve.
And we've got Sean. Sean's in New Jersey, although he was at Wembley a few rows behind me the other day. How are you, Sean?
Oh, brilliant.
How was the flight back? A bit rough?
No, I didn't care. It was brilliant. I couldn't stop smiling. So
good man. And we've also got Gavin. Gavin's in Florida. Gav, how are you, mate?
I'm pretty good at the moment,
I tell you what, it's between you and Jeff who's got the best background there, because the Sunderland frame shirts and the Sunderland same light, and then have you got a dartboard behind you there? Is that a dartboard, Sean? I don't know.
It is, aye.
It is. Looks a small one, mind, is it?
It's just a normal size one.
I bet you've got more holes in the wall than there's in the dartboard, is it?
What do you put that, son?
Right then. So, I don't know if you saw the image on social media last week before the match. It was basically a mock-up of Del Boy and Rodney wearing Sunderland shirts. And it said, this time next week we'll be millionaires. Well, in the words of Del Boy, we've only gone and bloody done it. So, Pete, I'll start with you. You were in it must have been early morning for you by the time the kickoff came around. I don't know. How are you feeling pre-match?
7:01 a.m. because we had that minute of,
Yep.
for the Baldock and all that stuff. Oh, absolutely brilliant, man. I had my lucky shirt on. I should have put it on today. I wore it both commentary games. Then we won both games. Well, we obviously went through, so I wore it, and unbelievable. I was getting messages in WhatsApp. Simon Moore's dad was messaging me from the stadium. Paul Atkinson, who used to play for Sunderland, one of my best mates, he was messaging me from the stadium. And he was sat next to Reedy and Kevin Phillips. So it's just brilliant. Absolutely. Guy, you cannot put into words, man, can you?
No, absolutely not. And a funny story, I was actually on the same tube as Reedy. I got on the same tube with Liverpool, was it Liverpool Street Station? Or Lime Street Station? I got on there and, took a selfie with Reedy. He was kind of far away, but
Did he already have a glass of wine in his hand?
Well, he didn't notice I was taking a selfie. I just took it like that. And so I was on there with Reedy. He was there. Jeff, what are your thoughts, mate? Great weekend.
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. It's one I'll never forget. I got into Stansted late on the Thursday night, and then Friday I made my way to Covent Garden. I stayed in a hotel on the Strand. My mates had come down on the Friday morning, and we met up. We're in Covent Garden all afternoon, and then to Trafalgar Square in the evening. It was a great atmosphere. I saw Mickey Horswell and Richie Pitt in Trafalgar Square. Said hello to them and shook their hands. And it was just, I don't know, it was like the stars aligned, didn't it? Everything slotted into place. It was just, obviously the nailed on finger biting, because that's always going to happen supporting Sunderland, isn't it? We're never going to win anything easily. And it just all clicked, didn't it? Unfortunately for me, I'll get this in now. I was in the lavatory when we scored the winning goal. I couldn't hold on any longer.
Hey, see, Sean.
Were you with Lee?
And when the cheer went up, I didn't know who'd scored, and then a young'un ran in with a Sunlun shirt on, jumping up and down, and there was urine flying everywhere, as you can imagine.
I think you're taking the piss.
Literally, yeah. No, Sean, I didn't miss Tommy Watson's goal or Miranda's goal. I was coming down the steps when they fucking scored, wasn't I? So, yeah. So, yeah, I got a bit of abuse, actually, when I was, like, crossing people when they scored. I was, like, saying, excuse me, and they went, oh, fuck off, man. I was like, sorry, mate. Like, it's not my fault he scored, like. But anyway, Gav, what about you, mate? How was your experience of watching that?
I mean, I've had worse Saturday mornings, I'll be honest. My biggest issue is I'd been in hospital a couple of weeks beforehand with some blood pressure issues. So I'd not watched the second leg live because I didn't think my heart would be able to take it without stroking out. Took my blood pressure after the final. Oh, my cardiologist just wouldn't have been happy with me.
But we got it done in the end, didn't we? And Sean, listen, we caught up like during the match. You had a couple of pints. Well, you probably had several pints before the match. You were shouting at me, telling me to sit down all the time. So I don't know. It was emotional, wasn't it? It was very.
It was. I mean, I got in on the Saturday morning to Heathrow around 7 a.m. and then I met my dad in the hotel up at Earl's Court, and just we were in Covent Garden for like 9 o'clock, 9:30, and just on the drink all the way through. But it calmed us down because I was a mess. I even went back at one point because I got to the tube station and I says to my dad, I've got to go and change my socks. He goes, why? I said, I haven't got my Bob Stokoe socks on. He says, give out what? I says, no, I'm going back to me lucky socks.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Aye, so I went back and put them on. My father was like, what are you doing? I said, I need them on.
Bob Stokoe socks. Just coincidental that there's loads of prozzies hanging around Bill's Court.
I bet. I wish there was. but nah, so, and then obviously we got there and it was just everything, just unreal, wasn't it? Phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, did you not think though, like on the tube going to the ground, all I saw was Sunderland fans. I think I saw must have been 2 or 3 Sheffield United fans.
Well, we were in Covent Garden and then it got to 1:30 and I says to the boys, listen, we're going to have to drink up. It's a new how to get to Wembley, 40 minutes. So we just went, well, it's 6 so we'll get a taxi. And the taxi driver, he was a proper, like a Millwall, like he sort of like the Billy Mitchell up his stand does. You know, he was like, oh, I'm not taking this to Wembley. He says, but I'll take you to some station, Marleybone or something it's called, and then you can get an overground one stop. Yeah. He says that's better than getting the underground. So we literally done that. He was bang on, by the way. So we got the overground, and you come right on the top of Wembley instead of being underneath, and then straight in. It was brilliant. Like, so we just saved a lot of hassle doing that, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Jeff, we have that song "Sunlun Take Over" everywhere we go, and it certainly felt like that, didn't it?
I'll get you more.
Yeah, it did. I mean, Sheffield United won. No, as you said on over the weekend, because I was there early. I didn't see any Sheffield United fans on the Friday at all. And the first couple of lads I saw when I walked out the hotel on the Saturday morning, and that was it. And even, you know, like milling about, I went to Trafalgar Square to meet my mates. Didn't see any Blades fans at all. And it was only when I got off the train at Wembley Park that was actually, you know, like a number of them there. And as we were walking up the way, but it was a poor turnout from them, really, not to be able to sell all your tickets. There was lots of seats there, a bit shabby. You just thought any team they consider themselves to be, you know, a big club, don't they? And to not sell your allocation out at Wembley's a bit of a shit show, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I seen two on the flight coming across. I took a photo and put it on the NASA. So I'm standing in the line in JFK, and 2 of them come down, and they were laughing, giving us shite because there was 2 of them, and I thought, it'll be the only time knew that they're outnumbering us, by the way. Literally, it was the only 2 I seen all weekend. I texted the boys saying, it was 2 of these bastards. But I'm gutted though, they weren't on the flight on the way back. I thought, how's your fucking luck? How's your bastard luck, honestly? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I thought I expected them to at least sell out the allocation because I mean, after the playoff semi-final victory that they had, you'd expect them to sell it. But I mean, yeah, there was that middle tier, wasn't there, behind their goal on the right-hand side that they didn't sell out.
Ryan
So
put it at the
They
big
kept
screen.
saying, they kept saying to me, "Oh, we're a city where we've got two teams in our city and stuff." I was like, "Bollocks! Doesn't mean a thing." I said, "Don't give us that waffle. Like, honestly, give over."
yeah, yeah.
And they had a smaller club in Sheffield. Let's not forget that.
Yeah,
The Sheffield Wednesday sold out their allocation when they went up.
yeah.
Yeah.
They
Well, anyway,
obviously well travelled because they didn't know Sunderland's now a city. So, it follows up everything about Sheffield, doesn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Shit, even Hull's a city these days.
yeah, they're still watching when Saturday comes with Sean Bean for nostalgia, aren't they?
I
It's a
just-
cracking movie, that though.
It is a good movie, isn't it? It's a good film.
I was expecting to see Robert Carlyle in the in the full Monty with his Sheffield United old one on. I was expecting him to come out, so giving it a bit dance, but I never saw it,
Well, I mean,
He was train spotting.
Pete, I mean, the last two times I've been to Wembley was this one, obviously, in the Wickham final. And I have to admit that on both occasions, I didn't feel nervous pre-match. But the previous other two times that I went was like the Checker Trade Trophy final. And then in 1998 against Charlton in the final, I was dead nervous. But this time, it just felt different. I can't really put my finger on why, but it was proven right. But then again, like when I did look down at my feet, I saw about like 500 fingernails on the floor, but it didn't feel like I was nervous.
Were you a hobbit?
I've no idea. But I've got short fingernails now, mind. But listen, the team news came out, Pete, and I think everyone was kind of like quite satisfied that Mundell was back in. Roberts had been dropped, but I mean that was mainly because of injury. Rig was on the right, my end up front on his own. I think that was like a team that people were happy with, wasn't it?
Absolutely. We've been crying out for Lafay to play behind the front player. And to be honest, for 75 minutes, he was pretty poor by the standards we've become to seeing him out on the left. But that last 15 minutes, when Roberts came on and we played Isidore, it changed, and his effect on the game, and then obviously Watson came on as well. His effect on the game in that last 15 minutes was phenomenal. And now I presume the signing that $20 million deal, and we've gone up, or £20 million, sorry, because we've gone up. I'm assuming that's what's happening. But he was exceptional in that last 15. Oh my God. And Roberts made a huge difference. And we know he was out with a hammy injury, but he hadn't played so well in the last Coventry game, and then came in and made a huge difference. And obviously we know what Tommy did. And as much as Tommy's been given a load of crap over the last 6-8 weeks since he made that signing, it's kind of odd that his agent would announce that he's signed with still 7 or 8 weeks left in the season. But God, what a way to respond, and bloody hell, he'll have the keys to the city now, won't he?
Absolutely. Gav, I mean, after a minute of the game, it all went wrong, didn't it, for Luke O'Nien? I mean, that injury, I was absolutely gutted for him. And I don't know if you saw pre-match when like they were doing the pre-match lineup before like national anthems and all that. He was actually in tears. He got a bit overwhelmed, didn't he? And like Chris Rigg, there's a video today on the internet saying like Chris Rigg like kind of comforted him because he's a bit teary. So I'm actually gutted that he had to miss the whole of the match. But really chuffed that he's got that chance to play in the Premier League because he 100% deserves, doesn't he?
Oh, I don't know if 100% deserves it. I mean, look, he's a cracking player for us. He might not be the most technically gifted, positionally aware, but he gives us everything for the club. Rapidly kind of being in that bally mold of player who, whilst not the greatest of players, is the best of characters to have around. Yeah, I saw Rig kind of calming him down during the presentation and the anthems. What I liked though was I think Luke O'Nien had posted on Instagram or something about how much pain he'd been in and the morphine, and Chris Rigg apparently just posted, "Grow up, man."
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, like you've got to feel from after a minute. I mean, it was. I thought we were doomed. The way that they were able to get that cross in so easily, the fact that Patterson had to pull out, probably his save of the season, if I'm honest. Because if we'd gone 1-0 down after a minute, I don't think we'd be sat here all happy as we are. But yeah, I mean, just to dislocate your shoulder and something as freak as that, and then for Lebris to have to then rework everything. And look, I might have been saying all season that I thought that Mepham and Ballard were the better partnership, but I didn't want to see Luke O'Nien go off like that.
yeah, no. I mean, Jeff, about that save, the first minute at Wembley, that was a massive save, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was it? Oh, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Niall Quinn, or someone was like saying it reminded them of like the Gordon Banks save, kind of like not the same kind of style of save, but of importance, no? And the way he got down and the way he had to drag it back because it was like behind him. That was
maybe the only time Kiefer Moore gets compared with Pele.
Yeah. But Jeff,
Yeah.
when you saw that save,
We looked like rabbits in the headlights at the start of the game, didn't we? I mean, we were poor. We were very poor for the opening 15 minutes, and then, of course, they went 1-0 up, and we just didn't get a look in really. The VAR thing was an enormous turning point in the game, because if that goal had stood, I doubt we'd have come back from that. But we aren't responsible for the rules. We played 48 games of football without it. But the rules are the rules at Wembley, and so be it. And it fell in our favour. And as I mentioned before about the stars aligning, that was potentially the first star in the right place. And then after the break, we were a different side. The sense of urgency in our play, all of a sudden, everything speeded up. The passing was good, and it gave everybody a lift. And the crowd, started to get behind them. And it was a complete, without using the cliches, it was absolutely a game of two halves, because we were piss poor in the first half, and the second half, from the kickoff, we looked like a different side. And Lebris's half-time talk, obviously, he put a rocket up the backsides or whatever, and it was, it was fundamental and spun the game on its head. And once Mayenda scored, I thought there was only going to be one winner in that game. We were in the ascendancy from there.
I think the irony of the whole first half was that we bossed possession.
Yeah.
I think we had 68% possession in the first half and did nothing with it, which is kind of like shades of Coventry for two games.
I was going to say, so according to Frank Lampard, we're the better team in that first half, and weren't we?
Pete, you want to come in?
I was going to say, I'm a great believer things happen for a reason, and Luke O'Nien going out, I think Mepham and he, we know he encapsulates everything we love about Sunderland and the character that he is. I wouldn't compare him with Bawley. I know Bawley, and they're quite different characters, but all got their great assets about it. But no one would want to see O'Nien go out like that. But I think things happen for a reason. I think Mepham and Ballard then came in together. None of us wanted VAR. The managers didn't want VAR, but we're thankful we had it. And Lebris had to show his tactical nous and imagination, because people have questioned it since like March or even before that. But he proved himself again. He did it against Coventry twice, and then he did it in the final because, and I was very, actually, Chris Wilder, I thought, was very magnanimous about it. And he praised how well we were structured and how well we played. And he's a Sheffield lad through and through, And but I think it showed people like Lebris has the tactical nous to figure stuff out and make adjustments where needed. We probably all season have been going, why is he not making a sub earlier? Why is he not making a sub earlier? You know what I mean? But he's figured it out. And to me, I think those things happen for a reason, and they just all came together. And then who would have put any money on Tommy Watson coming on and scoring the winner when he's already leaving us, even getting on the pitch. And I just think things happen for a reason, and it just all came together like the perfect storm.
Yeah, I mean,
another moment in the game. Sorry, Lee. Was the substitutions? I thought Dan Neil had a shocker of a game.
Yeah.
And once he got the shepherd's hook, and Roberts came on, and Isidore came on for Mundle. That was, another major part of the stars aligning.
Yeah, I think Gavin, in the first half, I mean, I thought like we had lots of possession, as you mentioned before, but Sheffield United defensive shape was like very, very solid, wasn't it? I mean, we were going from left to right. I mean, you saw like Mepham and Ballard passing to Neil and Job, and they just didn't know where to pass it. They got the ball out to wide to Serkin, but Serkin was so wide, Mundle was down the line that there was no option to pass there. That when we did get into space to like Mundle and Rigg, I don't think like Job and Neil, they didn't get over there on their side fast enough to be able to do something. And
I think after getting hit early on, especially for their goal on the break, I think they were so frightened of getting hit on the counter that they were playing too deep, so we couldn't have any momentum and shape going forward. It just looked disjointed for most of the first half, and I think the big change that Labrie made at the half was that he kind of encouraged a higher press, which we'd done well with at the beginning of the season when we were pissing the league, and he abandoned around Christmas. So it was interesting to see how he changed things up, and I think Sheffield United went in the second half as if it was already done. I think they thought it was a foregone conclusion. I think then, was it around 68 minutes when Serkin makes the mistake that lets the lad in, and then Pato saves with his feet. I think when we go up the other end and within 5 minutes we're level, I think they were done. They had no idea what they were going to do next.
Yeah. I mean,
I think we made a huge difference when Hamer went off, and we took full advantage of that, and Roberts, and then Hume got past and overlapped and underlapped more, and so did Serkin. I know it was on the opposite side, but it unbalanced them, and we took full advantage of it. But I think that's fantastic on Labrie's tactical adjustments. I think it was fantastic, and people outside the Premier League have no idea who he is. Yeah. So I'm hoping we'll give him something to think about.
After 35 minutes, right, he changed Ballard and Mepham around, right, and because obviously Ballard was struggling to play the ball out, so he switched them around, and it worked brilliant. Just little tweaks like that he made. Because I know you said from half time, I thought from 35 minutes, Sunlun were the better team. They had 35 minutes in that game where I was panicking, and from 35 minutes to the end of the game, Sunlun bossed them, I thought. And it started off men against boys, didn't it? They were shiting themselves, they were all over the place. And we're fearing the worst, aren't we? But again, it was just little tweaks like that. It was just little. His in-game management, I thought, was really good. And listen, I'm having Gavin Frater there. He's probably loving this, But I've given grief for ages now, calling him the French Southgate, and saying he's too boring and he's negative. And let me tell you though, I love him now. I won't have a bad word said about him.
The only one was Sean. I remember being on here a few weeks ago, and you were all shitting your pants about how bad our form was, and I said, no, they're just holding it off to the playoffs now.
Let me tell you.
And you were all like, no.
The first time I come on this podcast, I said Sunderland to win the playoffs, right?
Did you have to look at that?
I did, and I've said.
I'm going to go to VAR and find out, man, Sean.
I'm telling you now, I says we'll win the playoffs, and you're all shouting yourselves at Coventry. And if you remember in the NASA chat, I went, "Fuck them, we'll do them over 2 legs." And I went, "What?" So because I just onward day from January up until January, we were the best team in this league. We were.
Right.
I didn't care what anyone said. We were the best team in this league, and there's not a team in this league I feared, right? And we fell off a cliff for a little bit, but as soon as he changed the shape and he got we're going, and the second half we were brilliant, man. I thought we completely controlled the game, and they just didn't know how to deal with it. As soon as we started playing football,
I've been annoyed by the lazy journalism and the commentary where they've gone on about how much better Sheffield have played and how much they deserve to be ahead, and then how we got bossed at Coventry. I'm like, look, it's not entertainment. Stop thinking it's a WWE. It's sporting competition. All you have to do is work out how to maximize your team's efforts against the opposition. And for Coventry, it was just park the bus and hitting the brake. And then when that wasn't working against Sheffield United, we just went at them.
I had a conversation with you, Gav, ages ago, you know, and you said to me, you said, Lebrie will approach things differently if we go to the Premier League. You said he won't. He'll sit back and he'll get results, and he'll do it in the playoffs. And he'll sit back, and I think you had faith in him, and I was like, it's boring. And you said, no, he'll get results doing it. And fair play to you, Gav, son, because I don't know where you nicked that from, by the way, but you're all right, you know. So, yeah.
Hey, we have a show over here, Lee, called Galazzo.
Right.
And it's Nigel Rio Coco and it's Troy Neely, depending on who's on what. Anyway, afterwards, on pitch side, they interviewed Lebrie. And he sounded as boring as everyone thinks he is, but going up here, he's got it figured out. And they said, what are you going to do to celebrate? He didn't even say I was going to have a glass of wine. He goes, I'll just wander back in and have a quiet afternoon.
Yeah. Doesn't give much away, does he not?
Mini, get up there, son.
Yeah. Jeff, I mean, when they scored after 25 minutes, I mean, I was just like, oh, fucking hell. I was walking down the stairs and I saw us have the corner and I saw like fucking Gus Hamer, it was about as fat as me, just like burst past Mepham. And I was just like crying out from just like get a tackle and like either take a yellow card or whatever.
Foul him. I said foul him, yeah.
Yeah, foul him because it was just so easy to get that counter, wasn't it? I mean, but to be fair, it was a very good pass and it was a great finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, as I said, they scored from our corner. But the counter attack was perfect, wasn't it? The initial pass, he left our defenders for dead, and then the ball in. You know, it was a superb counter attacking goal, wasn't it? You couldn't.
Well, it was Dan Neil. Dan Neil was the last.
You couldn't
player.
draw. Dan Neil for me had a stinker of a game.
He did.
I can't remember, and there was two occasions in the second half where he had the ball at his feet under no pressure whatsoever. And first one, I think he just passed it out completely, didn't he?
He did.
And the second one, he just conceded possession under no pressure at all. And I said to my mate, he needs the shepherd's hook. He's got to go. And, you know, within minutes, he took him off. And it's,
you know what? Credit.
It's highly unusual
credit to Lebrie.
Isn't it?
Hi.
Credit to Lebrie, though, because
it was the right.
He took him off. You know, yeah.
It was very brave,
How
wasn't
often
it?
do you take your captain? How often do you take your captain off? And your club captain's
not,
already off.
Not just your captain, but the Sunlun boy playing at Wembley, right?
But,
you're taking up a Sunlun boy playing at Wembley who's your captain, and as you've just said, there 09 was off. That's some bollocks. That, by the way, it is, by the way.
Yeah.
So
you've got to. My ex-wife always told me you've got to watch out for the quiet ones.
Yeah,
must be why I don't. Why I feel, and you see.
That's probably why she's my ex-wife.
I think he said after the match, didn't he, that he was cramping up after 55 minutes. He said that he wasn't tired, but he felt like cramping up. So that could have been as well. But Gav, I mean, when they scored that second goal that was disallowed by VAR, did it even come into your head that it might be offside?
I mean, I was watching on TV, so I saw the go up. So I think if we'd lost that goal for us on a VAR decision, we'd have been a bit upset. But when you look at it, the Sheffield United player could have gone left or right. He chose to go right, which put him in the view of Patterson, which blocked his view of the goal. I don't think anybody can moan about that as a right or wrong decision. When the ball hit the back of the net, I thought we were screwed. I was contemplating going and play golf and like leaving the match, but then we got the VAR thing come up, and I was like, okay, we got away with one in the first minute. Yeah, we're 1-0 down, but we just got away with this as well. Maybe this might be our day.
I mean, Sean, Jeff, you were in the stadium along with me. I mean, it didn't even come across my mind that it was offside.
You know what? I forgot about. I didn't even know there was VAR, and because I didn't listen to much build up, because I thought myself I'm going to distance myself from the build up and stuff. So I didn't know that VAR was in play. And then my dad said to us, he was offside him, you know. And I went, all right, okay. And then obviously it stopped for ages. And then when they went and checked it, everyone around me was going, he's going to disallow this. He's checked it. He's checking it's taking too long. And I just thought, nah, we don't get this look. we don't. And then I think he made the announcement, and I couldn't even hear what he was saying. I just heard something about he was obstructing the keeper, and then that was it. The rest of it I couldn't hear because the Sunderland fans were going mad. And it was like, I think that was, we talk about luck and, you know, footballing gods, and that was the turning point. That really was the turning point, because I think that killed them, you know.
It was a good clean strike, wasn't it?
It was.
And I couldn't see anything wrong with it at all. And when they ruled it out, I couldn't tell like the line of the ball, but I said to my mate, I said, "What's maybe hit the lad on its way?"
For a second, it looked as though Kiefer Moore headed it
offside. But the issue was that the line of sight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
I saw a picture on the internet on Twitter yesterday, X, whatever you want to call it, yesterday, and I don't know how they got the picture, but it was the player stood right in front of Pato. And again, I don't know how they got the picture, but if that's when the strike hit, then he was completely unsighted. But I'd never seen that angle, and I don't know who would. And
so he wasn't unsighted. He wasn't unsighted when the ball was struck.
Yeah.
When Burrows hit the ball back in towards goal, he wasn't unsighted.
It
was the fact that he moved from where he was to the left of Paddock, right over across his view, and he came from an offside position to do that, which is what cost him the game.
Do you think he saves that if he sees it? Because I've watched it back loads. He was close to that. He was close to that, by the way.
I've got to be honest. I think if he hadn't been unsighted, I think if he'd seen that ball coming all the way, yeah, he'd have saved that.
I think he was so close to that. I think he saves it, by the way. If you watch it again, he's whiskers off that. So I think if he sees that earlier, he saves it. So
I honestly didn't get
it. No VAR, I mean, it's a goal.
But I didn't honestly get why they were going over the screen for an offside decision, because you never see that, do you not, really, for an offside? You never see the referee get called over the screen. It's normally like for a foul or something like that. But like for an offside, it's normally like upstairs. They tell them, no, it's offside. But they actually
I think there's the interpretation. They wanted to know whether the referee thought he was interfering with the keeper's eyesight, as opposed to was he offside when the ball was played.
Yeah.
He was definitely offside. The ball was played. It was just the question was he interfering with play?
Yeah. And I mean, Jeff,
Brilliant,
that raw when that was announced, when the referee came on his mic and he made like the NFL speech, didn't he? Like
you heard about
offside number 21.
That was brilliant. Did
you
get
to be honest, that's how VAR should be. If the referee's making a decision based on VAR, they should be mic'd up to the point where they can say, okay, number 6 Liverpool was offside when the ball was played forward, free kick to whoever.
They're all supposed to be like that now, moving forward. But Aston Villa ticked off that the ref didn't blew his whistle before VAR could get interjected in that Man United Villa game.
I know, the bastards.
I'd do away with VAR. I'd do away with VAR personally.
But anyway, listen. Just before that happened, right? That disallowed goal happened. I had the Bulgarian supporters branch behind me in the row behind. I had like Radoslav, he's been on here. And he had one of his mates, or I don't know what he was called, but he was like, I said to him, I turned around and said, listen, mate, we need some Bulgarian luck here. And he went, yeah, it will come. It's like, and all of a sudden, in the second half, Pete, wonderful build-up play, wasn't it? Between Job, Tommy Watson, Pastor Lefebvre, Pastor Roberts. I mean, that pass from Roberts, that was like pinpoint, wasn't it?
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it was his outside of his right foot, and there's a lefty. Yeah. I know these players at this quality, this level, should be able to play with both feet, but we know he's a lefty, and he played that ball through the legs on the run with the outside of his right foot, and perfect pace. So that build up to that goal was like phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
But even the finish, Peter, as well. Right. He stops it, he kills it with his left foot and smashes it with his right.
With the right,
he's a lefty, and you're thinking, I'm thinking, oh, it's on the wrong side for him, because I thought he would have went and took it on his left, but he couldn't. He's obviously just shifted it and just foot through the ball. What a finish that was!
God.
My
unstoppable, because it's high in the net.
Back of the net, you lads were right behind the goal probably, and that just rippled that net. Oh my God, it was brilliant, phenomenal.
The ball burst, as well. Did you know that one, Lee?
Did it?
He changed the ball.
Yeah, I saw it,
He changed the ball 2 minutes later because Sheffield United was saying the ball was flat, and we were laughing.
I saw Roberts grab the ball. I wondered. Oh, was that right after the goal? I didn't.
He burst the ball. He burst the ball.
Well, it was just after that
No, he
goal.
didn't,
Then.
Sean.
He did, son.
There was a coming together of a Sheffield defender and Roberts, and they both hit the ball at the same time, and that's when it popped.
Never let the
twat.
truth get in a good. Never let
I like
the truth get
Sean's
in a good
story. I like
story.
Sean's story.
But look, history will show that Mayenda smashed that ball.
He burst the ball.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what we want
But
to
anyway, the celebrations were absolutely wild. The Bulgarian guy from before, he just like basically grabbed me by the shoulder, shook me around. He went, "There's your fucking Bulgarian luck," and like, listen. I'm sure I mentioned this to you. Like, I don't get my leg over much these days, but fucking hell, getting my leg over those rows of chairs to come and celebrate with you, Justin, Ian, and Martin from the German Black Cats. Oh, that was a challenge.
It was brilliant because me dad's obviously on a cane now, right? He can't walk and stuff very well, and he managed at the Coventry game against obviously in the second leg. When the corner was about to be taken, he managed to get his cane up and position himself against the wall in case obviously Sunderland scored. So people were coming over his head, but he was balanced. But obviously when Mayenda scored at Wembley, everyone just erupted, and I'm on top of him. He's spread over the seat. His cane ended up 3 rows in front, you know, and it was unreal. What scenes that was. Unbelievable, that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I mean, Jeff, for you were there as well. That moment, I think it was coming, wasn't it? We felt that something was going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, the momentum was with us. They looked like, as our friend said there, that they're out of ideas. Sheffield United, and I said from my end of equalising, it was only going to go one way.
Yeah,
you could see that.
Yeah, I thought the irony was with everything that they had. If you look at it, they had Kiefer Moore, who we tried to sign last season. They had Brereton Diaz and Cannon, who we were linked with all winter.
Yeah.
And it's like, how'd you come up that short of ideas? I mean, Brereton Diaz got smashed by Humes. I mean, he didn't get long on the pitch, but
I think I had this again. I think you and I had a chat, Gav. I think on the NASA pod before the window, and I was on with Tom Cannon, and I think we both said wouldn't sign him. Shit, you know.
Yeah, when I looked at his output, he'd scored 10 goals in the first half of the season, and 6 of them were penalties.
Yeah,
and I'm like, you're paying 10 million for that?
But I did say Brereton Diaz I wanted, and I think you said, nah, he's a waste of money, and I said I would take him, but again, shite, rubbish.
I think the fact that when I've looked at both Sheffield United supporters and Blackburn supporters, they said he's so streaky, like he'll hit a patch of form where he might score 10 in 8 games, and then he goes like 10, 12 games without a goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I saw like Sheffield United players with the head in their hands. And it was only 1-1. I think you'd expect that if it's like 2-1 or 3-1. But after 1-1, 15 minutes left, and they got the head in their hands, you could sense.
The old John O'Shea.
Yeah.
you just got a sense, didn't you, in the ground? I says to me, Dad, we're winning this now. I says they're shitting themselves now, and I just I don't know, there was something where we were just, everyone around us was saying we're winning this. You just thought it was coming, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know?
But
so
Pete, do you not think that as well? We did ride our luck at times, because I think it was just before we equalised, was it that Sirkin makes a fuck up, doesn't he, in the back line, and he lets
Pato saved with his feet, didn't he?
And Pato about who's going to come to the ball.
with his feet.
Yeah.
He was going the wrong way, wasn't he, really? And so we did ride our luck.
He's let it bounce 3 times, though.
What?
It's bounced 3 times, you know. Like, it's shocking that. Like, I tell my players, it shouldn't even bounce once. I tell 10-year-olds it shouldn't bounce once. He's let it bounce 3 times. It was minging, by the way. So, yeah. But,
yeah, it did shift a little bit, but that the game's all about moments, and you know, that save by Pato at the beginning, Luke O'Nien going off, having to make some tactical adjustments, their second one being off with VAR. You know, just so many little things, but we had chances. God, we had chances, and we didn't take them. And he made those adjustments, and then when Isidore came on, and then Tommy, and it was huge, but taking Dan Neil off was a pivotal point for us, and I think it just just lifted the whole team.
Well, I think Labrie just went for broke, didn't he?
Well, again, as well, you know, I think bringing on two actual wingers, I thought massively helped because we obviously had Rig there and Lafayette, and they're not wingers, they're not, right? So bringing on Roberts, who was drifting, and he was coming in. Roberts was brilliant. Listen, again, I give him grief because I say he doesn't score enough goals, and he doesn't, and he doesn't. But he was unreal, Patrick Roberts, when he come on, and then even Watson. Just the fact you've got two wingers who are ballers coming on, and it just terrified the granny out of them. It did.
And Roberts was often on the left. Roberts was often on the left, where he probably most teams would play him being a lefty. But he drifted inside, and
he was coming in a lot, wasn't he? He was coming in a lot.
That's where he laid that ball across to Maenda. And when Watson was dribbling forward, Roberts cut inside again, and it busied some of the defenders. And that's I don't know how many times we watched that goal, bloody hell! But he curled that in like a beauty. But everybody else was running off the ball, and it created havoc. It was fantastic.
Well, I don't know if you watched the match back, but I think it was like the Sky Sports stream or one of the commentary streams in England. After 75 minutes, right, they were saying Sheffield United are 15 minutes away from the Premier League. And what do you know? A minute later, we score. So, like, talk about a commentator's curse there. So,
I heard that. I was listening to another podcast earlier. I'm not going to mention them because fuck them. But I heard them saying that obviously on Sky, and Gavin, I think Gavin was watching Sky, that Andy Hinchcliffe kept saying, "Oh, Sheffield are bossing this, Sheffield are all," and then every time he'd done it, I think the stats guy was getting so pissed off, he kept putting up possession, Sunderland 65%. Yeah, he just kept doing it as if to say, "Shut up, mate, will you?" And they were saying like he made out like that they were just bossing the game. Obviously, I never watched. I just watched the game back on NBC and on the American stuff, but they reckon Sky were just having a wank fest over them. So
that's what I heard. All my mates on socials were saying exactly the same if they weren't down at Wembley. And over here, obviously, we get a different broadcast, so they're a bit less. They're very knowledgeable, but they're less biased. And someone said after the game that at 75 minutes, they thought Wilder was getting ready for extra time. Well, if he was, more fool.
Do you know what I laugh at though? That Wilder's making excuses about it. Listen, I'll tell you something, right? It was bad management by him because he made all these subs in extra time, and then they had to play the last 12 minutes of extra time with 10 men. I'm thinking, do you know what? Fuck you, because that's bad management.
But can I just say that if you look at the there was a really good tweet about the strikers that we didn't sign in Kiefer Moore and Tom Cannon, but they both influenced us going up. Tom Cannon knocked out his own central defender, so they were down to 10 men, and then Kiefer Moore knocks the back pass wrong, gives it to Watson, and we go and score
with his trampoline touch. That was mint. I wondered.
Someone's done a kind of a remix of the game, and when it hits his when Kiefer Moore does the back pass, they put a boing on it. I was like, I had to go back a couple of times and listen to that. It was so funny.
Yeah, and they're crucified, aren't they? Sheffield United.
They are. They want rid of them. No, I heard on that BBC Sheffield they're going berserk. They want them gone. I heard that.
Yeah.
So who do you think we're going to sign?
I don't care.
Hey, what about De Bruyne? Forget Jordan Henderson, he's too old. What about De Bruyne? He's a free agent.
Well, if you think
I saw interesting stats today about the three teams that have gone up. So apparently Burnley spent 45 million in the last transfer window. I think Leeds spent 26 or 27, and we spent 9.
Do you know? I've been critical of the model.
Technically, we spent 29 because we just had to stump up for Lafay.
Yeah. I've been critical for months of the model, but
I said really, just months. Months.
And I said that I'd come out
months or years. Years, right?
I did say that I'd come out and hold my hand up and say the fair play to them. I'm going to invite Speakman for dinner, so. I'll give him that much grief, calling him a chancer and saying the skint. So, fair play to them.
Well, you know what? I'm just happy, right? Because I remember a few years ago, right? I was listening to the Talk Sport on fucking Jim White show in the morning, and Graham Souness was on, and Souness was saying like Sunderland can try all they want to get promoted on the cheap or get promoted with kids, but it's not going to happen like that. It's the perfect nirvana. It's never going to happen. So I'm fucking chuffed to bits that we proved that. Mag twat.
I remember
like,
Alan Hansen in 1990 saying that you win nothing but kids in the league, and then Man United go and piss the league with the class of '92.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
But I think everyone's saying about signings and stuff. Listen, I just want to enjoy it. I don't care. I think let's just enjoy the summer, and what will be, it's going to be tough, we know it is, but look, I don't care. Let's just enjoy it, boys, because we're back where we're like. It's funny because that second goal, I was telling Gav, like, I just started crying. When it hit the net, I think I was just crying in Tristan Warner's arms. I couldn't stop bubbling, and it was just 8 years of wow, we're back and we've done it, and I honestly couldn't stop. And I thought I was, and then I looked around and I seen so many people bubbling, and I've heard so many stories about people, and I thought, wow, it was just unreal. And yeah, never.
Well, over in the US here on Galazzo, they stayed on for like an hour and a half after the game at the ground. Brilliant. I mean, I don't think you get that back at home. But I had a 3-hour drive after that, and then so I waited all that finished, and then I listened to 606 with Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage, and someone said, "Why don't you two come and play for us?" But those two were raving about how well we played, and they were, Chris Sutton can be a money old bugger, but Savage, it was so complimentary of how well we played and all that stuff. So people all around the world were, and it's the fan base you can't, like, I've got mates over here who've ordered Sunlun shirts based on me having them at the game, round at the house, and they've been online and ordering. I don't know if that real. I don't know if that W88 is going to be real. The new shirt.
Yeah,
it probably isn't because they're trying to get rid of having.
There's only 1 year left. So at the end of next season, there'll be a ban on.
Oh, it's the end of next season. All right. So we might have that W, which is obviously for win.
Well, one of my players, he after the Coventry game said, "Oh, coach, I've ordered a Chris Rigg jersey," and I said, "Oh, why?" He goes, "I tried to get Ballard, but it was sold out." So and then before I went to Wembley, I went, "Is your Rigg jersey coming?" "No, it's coming tomorrow." And so just that's what I mean. I just thought, like, you know what? I've got him walking around now. He's going to be balling around in it, and you just think, like, I mean, I know obviously like Jeffrey and Lee and that were in the ground, and I don't know what your view of the goal was for Watson's, because I think as soon as it left his foot, it was unreal,
Cock in my hand.
You had what, sorry?
Yeah.
You on the toilet, man? You on the bog? Jesus, I forgot.
Hey, it bends to the left. It bent to the left.
But Lee and I, you were 2 rows ahead of me, and I watched that all the way in, and I don't know what your view was, but
you could
I can
sense
tell you from the television that I didn't even realise it was in.
If you watch that in slow motion, how it bends, it's phenomenal. I mean, I'm sure we've all watched it backwards.
It's like watching the cricket ball when Warren would ball in and just watching it hit the ground and then just hit
swerve.
That. Yeah.
Aye.
If he'd hit that in the air, he wouldn't have got as much turn and it would have gone wide.
I don't know, Jeff. Did you notice like a kind of like just a moment of silence when Keeper Moore played that pass, bad touch? Watson picked up the ball and took a couple of steps. There was like, I don't know, like a moment of like hope, and all of a sudden it just went silent, and it just exploded, didn't it? It just erupted.
Then it went mental. Brilliant.
Yeah, I was in the wrong place, lads. After all that,
we'll keep asking him, and but because I was thinking about it on the way back, like my favourite ever Sunderland goal was Bardsley at Old Trafford. Like that was I don't know if you were there, but that was brilliant. The scenes were unreal. But that beats it for me now. That just being there with that was mint, man. It was so good, So,
I mean, I suppose, Jeff, it had to be Watson, didn't it? Because of everything that's gone on. The announcement of him leaving, and then he played the following 3 matches when that was announced, and he was shite. He got dropped by Lebris, and listen, he's written his place in Sunderland history, hasn't he? Now,
absolutely.
He's redeemed himself.
I'm a very, very proud Hazelton lad. So and he's going to become one of Hazelton's greatest, isn't he? He'll never be forgotten.
Well, I think everybody's knocked him. But they interviewed him after the game, and he says, "I dreamt of this for 2 weeks, and that's exactly how I saw it."
Yeah.
And it then.
It's a fairy tale ending for him, isn't it?
It is.
I think a lot of people were giving Lebris grief for continuing to pick him after he said he was off. And my opinion was at the time, and I said in our group chat a lot of times, look, if he's contracted to play for us, you put him out. He's a professional. He goes out and does his job. And the fact that he'd come back after his injury and he was a bit shit and he got dropped. And when he came on, I wasn't overly happy because I thought, I just don't know whether bringing him on and taking Mundell off is the right move. But look.
I said previously in one of the other podcasts I did with Lee that the whole scenario, the whole situation was badly managed and did nobody any favours. Because, initially when it was announced that he was going, he got a rough ride when we played Bristol City away, didn't he? The fans turned on him, they were booing him, one thing and another. It did nothing for the sort of ambience within the squad, and nothing. I'll never understand why it was made public.
Yeah.
When it was just piss poor management.
I said that because a couple of people were asking me yesterday, like a couple of people out here, and I was like, it was because look, like. You could argue the same with the Job situation, right? If the rumours are true, he was in Germany yesterday, right? Now, the club's known for ages.
They're photographic proof he was.
Right, well, okay.
He was in Spain with his brother.
So the club know. No, but what I mean is the club know that he's off, right? But they haven't thrown him under the bus. But I don't get why they've done it with Watson. I think it was poor. It really was, And
well, it's a bit like the Trent
There are 2 clubs involved in this. Don't forget, Brighton are going to want to announce the signing. They're going to say it one way or the other, so you might as well come out and say it.
Yeah.
Well, the game's changed, though. These things didn't used to happen.
No,
right.
I can't remember that situation happening before.
Aye.
I'm sure it has done, but not to my knowledge. I don't ever remember it happening. An announcement about a player leaving whilst he's still playing, and there's still what there was 7 or 8 games left in the season.
But I mean, was it to be half expected though? Because in January he did actually travel to Brighton, didn't he, for a medical to negotiate, and it fell through him because we couldn't find a replacement. I think it was, but you'd expect them that it was going to happen without question. But why then? I think that was the key thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why then?
As I said, look,
it's all in the agents now. It's all in the agents these days. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. There's 2 moments that I want to talk about in the match. Then we touched on one briefly before. Was the Trey Hume tackle, Gav? I mean, that was just beautiful, wasn't it? That was like a perfect tackle where you take the ball first and clean out the man. And I think Ben Burton Diaz, I don't know what part of his body he's hurt. I don't know if it was like his ribs or whatever, but like tough shit, man. I mean,
the whole of it.
Yeah. So watching them go through, like when I saw it full speed, I was like, oh, that looked like a pin. But when you watch it in slow motion, Diaz pulls out and tries to pull out of the tackle. That's what gets him injured. He's rather than going for it, he tries to pull out. But if you watch it from a certain angle, you see Chris Wilder applaud the tackle.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
But I saw the nastiest tweet. So it was almost like from above.
Yeah.
And they'd done a chalk outline of where Brent Diaz had been.
Yeah. Pete, you want to come in?
I was going to say I was playing for Riot Colliery Welfare when I was a student at Sunlun Poly, and this team we were playing against, I forget who it was, it might be in Eastern Colliery. They brought in David Corner for a game, and I tried to do that tackle, but I tore my hamstring.
Good lad.
What it did was just got everybody fired up. It got everybody out the seats.
I did. It was mint.
it was just a big crescendo of noise. It was fabulous. It's things like that. That's what we pay our money to go and see.
Yeah.
When somebody commits like that, 120%, and it's like, I'm having this at all costs, and he absolutely, he went through them like a post.
It was like a Lee Catamall tackle, but with actual class.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard like Frankie and Danny interview him after the match, and he said, "Oh yeah, I was feeling,
I was too lazy.
I was feeling cramping. I couldn't be arsed, so I just started to smash him."
Yeah.
But there was that moment, Sean, and I think another moment that stuck in my mind was when like Lafie and Isidore did some like kind of like head tennis, and Lafie won a free kick, and he just like gave like a massive like Luke O'Nien fist pump to the crowd. I think
it got us. I think there was a minute and a half left when he done that, or a minute left, and that just that because the crowd they were getting nervous, weren't they? And it was brilliant, wasn't it? It was mint. You seen the passion in him, and do you know what I loved though? Like how they managed that game from then on in, winning headers, winning second balls, winning tackles. They were just like not a chance because obviously. They were putting balls in. They were trying. Nothing was working. The Sunlun just went fuck you. We're not letting this slip. And like you said, that the blood and the passion and my favourite bit of the whole bit was Luke O'Nien running around with one arm and jumping on my end. I thought it was brilliant. By the way, someone said was that's O'Nien. And when I got up, I went, it is as well, with his one arm, and he's shouting, "Think, boys," and he's giving them it. And I thought, what a leader, what a man.
I know Luke O'Nien's grandma through the cricket. She's involved with, she lives in Ibiza. And I was involved heavily with Menorca Cricket Club, and she was the treasurer of Ibiza Cricket Club. So I've known his grandma, Lynn, for years. And she was sending me messages the other day saying congratulations and all the rest of it.
Well, they interviewed O'Nien later, and he said, I ran more when they scored the goal than I did the whole minute and a half I was on the pitch.
Yeah, true. So, Gav, the full-time whistle goes. Did it really sink in at that moment that we'd done it?
Well, my blood pressure was 230 over 155, so I was glad the whistle went. No, I think it took a couple of seconds for me. And I started jumping around. I petrified the dogs. The wife popped out from her office to see what was going on. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't blubbing like Sean was at full time, but I might have got a bit glassy eyed.
Can I say as well? Gavin's got whenever you watch a match with Gavin, he's got the biggest mouth ever. Right, the roar when I've been in bars with him and he roar and the whole place goes, Jesus wept. So I can imagine it would have been pretty loud, mate, if I'm being honest with you. So yeah.
Jeff, were you getting your dry cleaning done then? What were you doing?
He was under the urinal, under the dryer, wasn't he? What?
I must confess, I didn't wash my hands.
I didn't shake any hands.
Different people's piss on those hands.
But there was like some special moments, like wasn't it, Jeff? Like when Can't Help Falling in Love came on, Ready to Go came on, and that was like really. I've got videos of that. It was really special, wasn't it? That moment of celebrating, and I was like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an adjective like to describe the whole season, and I don't know, exhilarating, suspenseful.
Euphoric.
I mean,
nah, not the whole season.
Somebody said on the Galazzo it was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Marathon. A roller coaster marathon.
Yeah, Gav, you want to come in?
Yeah, roller coaster's probably not far off because we got high. Christmas we were top of the league by 5 points, and then we ended up being 24 points off top in the end. So it was like, and then we didn't look as though we were going to do anything in the last 10 games of the season. So it's like from one extreme to the other, and then back up to that top extreme.
Mm-hmm. Well, Sean, I think listen, praise does need to be given to Kirill Louis-Dreyfus, to Christian Speakman, to Stuart Harvey, because Christian Speakman came in, I think it was December 2020. The same time Lee Johnson came in. Dreyfus followed a few months later in February, I think 2021. And they came up with a 5-year plan to get us back in the Premier League. They've done it in 4. And in that time, we've won like a tin pot trophy. We've had 3 playoff campaigns. 2 of them have been successful. I think if you look overall, that's a fucking amazing job, isn't it?
It is, and as I've said, listen, do you know what? Like, because people used to say, I'd be like, listen, I'm only moaning because I want what's best. Like, like we all want what's best for Sunderland. We're all happy as fuck now because it's great. You know what I mean? I'm not moaning to be a knob. I was moaning because I want them
I
back
don't
in
know,
the
Sean. You were moaning to be a knob for a while.
Nah, hey, I was moaning because I wanted them back in the Premier League where they deserve to be, and I didn't think anything else for me was success. It wasn't. I don't care what anyone says again. For me, Sunderland Football Club deserve to be in the top flight, and that's all I was moaning at. And you know something, they've done it, and fair play to them. Hats off to them because, as you said, Lee, it's been. You know, some of the players, they've got it right most of the time, haven't they? They really have. When they've signed players, they've 9 times out of 10 they've got it right. Listen, I understand there's the pervaders and your boy Samad, Lee, who you love. You would have had him on after 15 minutes. You know, you know, and
I would have had him in the toilets with Jeffrey.
But
he's a big fella. I don't know whether Jeffrey would have survived.
But more often than not, like when you look at the likes of like Certain, My End, they've cost nothing, man. They haven't. I mean, what's My End?
When was the last time we made a bad signing, like a really bad signing?
Well, there have been a few, but I mean, the most of I mean, I did like a bit of research and like our best signings are either British or Irish-based players. I think the ones that have the biggest impact, with the exception of Mayenda and Isidore. But like we've had like Ekwa, we've had Bar, we've had Al-Shish, we've had Pembele, Rusin, Bennett. The list goes on, and they've all kind of just been they failed, haven't they? Really. So there have been some bad signings, but I mean, Jeff, for me, what gives me hope in the Premier League is that I think that they know what's needed to be able to survive in the Premier League, and if we invest in the playing team, in the squad, we get the right players in to play the style of play that's going to help us survive. I think we've got a better chance than say Leeds or Burnley.
Well, I think it's inevitable that we'll be signing French-based players.
Yeah. Big unit Frenchman, yeah.
Nailed on. We'll have a number of guys that he's had contact with either through like the French League One, players that he's coached previously through contacts of. I mean, it's nailed on. I mean, they've obviously got the sort of spreadsheet that they work from with all the stats and the type of players that meet the criteria, but I'll be very surprised if that's not going to be our main sort of hunting ground for players.
Yeah, Pete. So there's rumours then that Job could be leaving. He's been linked with like 3 clubs. It was like Frankfurt, there's Dortmund, and there's possibly Leipzig, I think. I mean, I'd be a bit gutted if he left, get into the Premier League, and not trying. He's not testing himself in the Premier League, but on the other hand, I kind of understand it because he wants to maybe his family want to follow the same path as his brother. Maybe they feel that he's not ready for the Premier League, that if he plays for Sunderland and he struggles, it could damage his reputation. So maybe go abroad, play in a lesser competitive league and European football out of the spotlight. What do you think? What do you make of the whole situation and how it's come out?
I think some of that might have been going on, and his brother's probably advising him, I'm sure, because he went there and obviously we know his story. I think some of that might have been going on in case we didn't go up. There might be a completely different perspective now. We have gone up and he's getting a chance to compete in the Premier League, where with another team, they might not gamble on him being relatively young, where, you know, you go to Germany, get your ground in and then step on to the next stage. But Chris Rigg, and Tom Watson, if he goes to Brighton, I don't know if he'll start at Brighton. And they've got a great youth setup. One of my former players is running their youth academy, and they've got phenomenal players coming through, but they saw something. I just think getting the balance of just a few experienced old heads in there with the youth that we've got, I think we can compete. And I think we'll surprise some people. Everybody's saying, they won't get as many points as Derby. they'll do another Southampton. And it's sad, the last 2 seasons, all 3 teams that were promoted went back down. So, I just think Labry's very sharp, much sharper than a lot of people give him, because he kind of tells everything and lays it all out. But people don't know if he's bluffing or if it's that little French twist to it, which I love. And they don't know if he's being a little sarcastic, which us over here in the Americans, they don't get it at all. So that's why us 3 lads are still over here. But at the same time, I think he's going to get that in his ear. His agent will be shopping him about. But like Gavin said, like the picture was fabricated. He's out in Ibiza or somewhere with his brother and his dad right now. So there's all this speculation is going to happen, and why wouldn't it? Because the quality players at a young age. But I'd be surprised, especially with our fan base, if he goes. I would be.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Gav, there was a Sky Sports reporter saying today that apparently Kirill Louis-Dreyfus wants Job to stay, and he's going to basically try his best to make him stay. Would you be disappointed if he left?
No. I think if you look at the kid's career projection, as much as I love being a Sunlun fan and I love this team, I just don't think we're big enough to achieve what he's going to achieve in his career. I think he's got every bit of the ability that his brother's got, maybe a little bit less, but not discernibly so. I think it's going to be very on brand for Bellingham to make that move to Germany for a year or 2, maybe 3, before ending up at a big boy team like a Real Madrid. And look, he's played 90 times for us, scored 11 goals, made 7 assists. For £3 million in a return to the Premier League, that wasn't a bad return.
Mm.
So, yeah, look, if he's going to go, he's got to go for over 30 million with sell-on. And I'd be like, yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all right. Jeff, one thing that carried us over the line then on Saturday was the atmosphere. I would love to see that back at the Stadium of Light next season. Because we need it, won't we? I think that's going to be a big factor, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't doubt for a minute that all the home games are going to be sellouts. It's not going to be all very, very near to. I think we'll see a big surge in season ticket sales. I'm going to buy one, because when I sat down and worked it out how many games I've been to last season, I've done a dozen, which I think is admirable for a foreigner. And I will buy myself a season ticket so I don't have to hassle anybody else, because the international fan membership no longer exists. I used to be able to sort myself out with tickets and things, but not anymore since they decided to scrap that, unless they reintroduce it. But I'm just going to get a season ticket, and if you want to go for a game and I can't make it, you're more than welcome to it, and we'll sort it out one way or another.
Graham, Jeff, I better get your number.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, if I'm not going myself, you're more than welcome to it, Peter. Honestly.
I'll try Simon first, because I like those players' lounges.
we're looking forward to the fixture release date, which I believe is the 18th of June.
18th of June, aye.
Is it 18th or how was the 9th of June?
Aye.
That's what they're going to announce pre-season, because they haven't announced that yet. There's been rumours, isn't there? There was some rumours today saying we've got...
The Bilbao?
Yeah, I doubt it. Not this year. Although Rob Mason and Bob Murray did say that they were going to have a chat with Kirill about it. So, but there's a rumour today that we could be playing Hearts on the 26th of June. Sorry, 26th of July. I read that. Hearts away.
Overseas tour then, over the border.
There's Portugal, because I don't think they want to go back to Spain after what happened last year, because it was a bit of a nightmare last year.
Yeah, it was.
I was there. I was fucking.
They could go to Portugal, because they came back and won 3 games.
Yeah.
Or at least triumphed on 3 games.
Yeah, last time we went to Portugal, the lights went out against Rangers.
Even with the lights out, aye.
Yeah.
Well, they can take some quarters for the lights.
Yeah.
50 pence pieces.
But yeah, Sean, I'll give you last word, because I tell you what, first of all, you told me to go to Covent Garden on Saturday night to the Nag's Head, and when I called you, I was there, you wouldn't fucking answer, so.
Well, because there was that many people there, fucking hell. it's how was I meant to find you even with that baldy head of yours? There was that many people. It was mental, wasn't it?
How does the Nag's Head hold 30,000 people? I just don't know.
There was a post from the Nag's Head on Twitter on Friday night, and their cellar was absolutely chock full with kegs, expecting the Sunderland fans.
He sold 110 kegs, which amounts to 24,500 beers.
That was the first hour.
That's nearly as good as us in that San Antonio.
I wanted to ask Gav. I looked at my phone and I'd rang you after the game and I can't remember what I said.
You didn't pick up.
I did.
Okay.
You were very emotional.
Okay.
I was in the one opposite. I tried to get a pint in the Nag's Head, but after about 15 minutes of not moving in a queue, I ordered and went to the one on the opposite corner. I think is it the White Lion?
The White Swan or whatever it's called.
The White Summit. I was in there.
Yeah.
I ended up at the one with the post box outside across from the Tesco, the Roundhouse or whatever it's called. I ended up there because the Nag's Head was too busy, but it was brilliant, man. It was class.
Right. Well, the final word I would say is our fan base is absolutely amazing, and every person I spoke to in London, whether it was in a bar or it was at the airport and they saw my shirt, or even on the bus driver, police officers, even like Man United fans and Tottenham fans when I was flying over from Biarritz because they were getting the flight back over to England, they were just saying like, "Good luck today. I hope you do it," and or congratulations, and like your fans are class because we'll travel like to all parts of the earth.
Aye.
We'll drink, we'll get drunk, and we'll sing, but we won't cause any trouble. And I think that's what sets us apart.
Well, I thought we travelled far. I was talking to a kid outside the bar who'd come from Perth, and I was like, Jesus, he's come from Australia. Like, I thought what we done was mint. Like, you boys, and you just think, wow, like Australia. But even the police were saying, man, the police were like, nah, there's been no trouble, there never is off years. And
the Premier League's a better league with us in this.
And hey, do you know what as well? The city's a lot better as well. Like, the city's moved on and there's a lot more going on there, a lot more development, and it just feels like it's on the up.
It does feel like that. I mean, I've been back regularly during this last season, and everything appears to be going in the right direction. There's been a lot of on the old brewery site in Kale Square. We're now going to have the new bridge across the Sheepfolds thing. We're back in the Premier League. The whole city will be buzzing.
Do you know, even at the
down in the doldrums for so many years, and it feels like a sort of a new generation.
Even at the start of the season, man, like pre-season and that, there was a lot of like Spain was unorganised, but the football was okay. That the pre-season was decent enough. Then the shirt release, like the Hummel and the home strip, just everything, the nostalgia, and it just give everyone was happy and stuff. And then the start of the season, and it's all just rolled in, hasn't it? And it's just felt good all season, apart from the last,
Well, I was back for the Leeds game when Myler muffed that one, and we got the 2-2, we got the draw. And I talked to Jim Montgomery before the game and Danny Collins, and they both said there's a feeling they got just generally that this was going to be the season, and how prophetic that was. That was October. Everyone had the feeling, and I think what Jeff's just said with all the new things that are happening, the sheepfolds and all that stuff, it's just brilliant, and I think it's going to be massive for the city.
That's great. That new footbridge as well.
The Regler Bridge.
Hey, that's a good.
Might be the Watson Bridge now. I don't know.
Could be.
Yeah.
Aye. There you go.
Right. Anyway, lads, we've talked on, we've banged on for like about an hour and a half now. So we're gonna call it a night because I need some more wine. I've been sitting here waiting to fill up. But listen,
piss, you mean?
Okay. In other words, yes.
Hey, I just put something in the chat, lads. Can I grab everyone's number and I'll stick it in for WhatsApp, and you can just ignore me.
Right. So put your numbers in there. Don't say them on thing because I don't want Peter getting like
no. Put them in an email.
Cold calls or dirty calls from like people's grandmas and all that. But anyway, listen, gents, it's been a pleasure.
To be perfectly honest, I wouldn't know how to do that.
Well, I'll pass your number on, Jeff, because I've got your number as well, I think, somewhere.
Put it in the email. Just put it in the email.
Okay.
But no, it's been an absolute pleasure having you guys on, meeting you, speaking and sharing experiences. And hopefully we'll be back again next season, no, for some more happy days. All right.
No.
So, gents, just want to say thank you very much for being part of this journey.
Cheers,
Thanks for
lads.
involving us and back stronger.
Come on.
Well done, Lee. Good of you to take your time to give so much of your time up to organise these and invite us on. It's appreciated, and the long may it continue.
Aye, do you know what? Sorry, I just want to end with obviously saying with NASA as well. I want to thank them and because, like Sir Justin, Rebecca, and everyone who got the tickets, because everyone who put work in to get them tickets.
Yeah,
Honestly, fair play to them, because I know like Rebecca and Justice never stopped. They were just getting bombarded on WhatsApp and Messenger and constantly.
You should have seen some of the message that they were sharing from some of the absolute idiots. And only cost us £100 last time. Why is it costing this now?
Oh, but I was getting messages of people saying, "Oh, mate, can I join the branch to get tickets for Wembley?" No, you cheeky bastards, you can't. Like, no, not a chance. Go and get stuffed, So, but I just thought, like, I can only imagine what they were putting up with, and honestly, fair play to them, because they made a weekend very special. So
yeah, because in the end,
Lee,
Sean,
thanks for involving me with some great people here. It's like
I agreed.
You share the passion, and I can't wait to meet some of your lads in the future.
I agreed, Lee, as well. Top
brilliant.
man.
Well, I've got fuck all else to do, you know what I mean? So,
well, we noticed.
Yeah.
Apart from doing papers at 3 a.m.
Yeah, no, like doing student reports at 3 a.m. But I mean, I have managed to speed up now how long it takes to edit an episode, so that helps.
Nice one.
And that's why I started doing it in Spanish as well. But just to finish, Sean, how many members from NASA came over the North America branch? Was it 19, 20 in the end?
Well, we got 20 tickets. We got 20 tickets, like, original, and then and Gav will help us out with this as well. I think we sold 3 corporate tables. Is that right, Gav?
I don't know on that, mate.
I think so. What happened was originally we got corporate tickets. We got a table of 20, and I think then the club gave us 2 more. So I think there was 60 corporate tickets went, and then on the Wednesday we got told the club were giving us 20. So I think I'd say 60 to 80 came across.
60 to 80.
As far as I'm aware.
Brilliant. No, and the Bulgarian lads were there, German Black Cats. I was there with Adrian, Jeff, Paul.
Jeff was in the toilet.
Paul
Jeff
got
was
a
in the
ticket.
toilet.
But no, it was brilliant. And listen, lads, thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to having you back on next season. How are the lads?
Away the lads. Cheers.
Given away by Kiefer Moore. It's Tommy Watson. This could be some farewell. Goodness me! That's how you say goodbye.